I never thought our institutions would be so openly battered, particularly those that are instrumental in maintaining our democracy. The press, that gives us a perspective on how to look at the day's events. The rule of law, that gives us a legal framework equally applied to all. Public universities and schools, that give us a common history as one American people and what it means to be a U.S. citizen. And the military and public service that provide for our common defense and for our general welfare. Two of the four major pillars are sitting with us today, with the bench honoring the brave. It's important that in these times we reinforce each other because these pillars are literally under attack. We've seen mainstream media get sued and then capitulate. Just yesterday, Don Lemon and Georgia Ford were arrested for legally protected First Amendment reporting on a protest in a church in Minneapolis. On the rule of law, the Department of Justice is no longer upholding the law or protecting civil rights. And it's apparently suspended due process, the First Amendment, the 10th Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, and now the Second Amendment. Hey folks, I think it's time for the 25th Amendment. I can't speak on all these pillars, but I can speak about the military. I spent 36 years working in the Department of Defense, 15 years in the Pentagon, 10 years as a senior executive. The reason I came back home to do this work was watching January 6th unfold at the U.S. Capitol. And that was just the beginning. The damage that has been done to our armed forces is frankly alarming. Since Trump got into office, right, just a little bit over a year ago, he's fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the head of the U.S. Cyber Command, the head of Defense Intelligence, the Navy Chief of Staff, the Naval Operations Chief, the U.S. Navy Reserve Chief, the head of the Navy SEALs, the Air Force Chief of Staff, the Air Force Vice Chief of Staff, the Air Force Global Strike Commander, the Coast Guard Commandant, and the top legal officers in the Air Force, Army, Navy, and the CIA.
And the Superintendent of the Naval Academy.
And the Superintendent of the Naval Academy. And firing the top lawyers was a tell. A new administration doesn't come in and fire the JAGs. Never. So why? Because the JAGs are the flag officers who advise service chiefs on what is and isn't a legal order. And while I took it as a very dark sign, it's now clear why the administration took a hammer to this pillar in each military service and the CIA. In October, Admiral Alvin Halsey, who led U.S. Southern Command, announced he was resigning 1 year into his 3-year tour. Why was that notable? Southern Command's theater of operations includes the Caribbean and South America. As you know, the military began striking non-combatants in speedboats off the coast of Venezuela in September. And then on January 3rd, the U.S. invaded Venezuela and captured their president, Nicolas Maduro. The military has since detained, boarded, and taken over Venezuelan oil tankers. The full might of the U.S. military is now being used to plunder the assets of other countries. And Admiral Halsey retired because he did not want to be a party to that. In November, Senator Mark Kelly, Navy captain, pilot, and astronaut, along with 5 other lawmakers, developed a video advising military members that they can and should refuse illegal orders. Trump called him traitor. He said what they did was punishable by death. And Pete Hegseth, the most unqualified individual to ever lead the Department of Defense, announced the Pentagon would pursue administrative measures against Senator Kelly, to include a reduction in retirement pay. They want to make an example of him to silence you. And now Trump is destroying something that China and Russia would pay dearly to have: our alliances. After World War II, the United States developed treaties with European countries and Canada for mutual defense. The only time Article 5 has ever been invoked is after 9/11, when NATO countries supported us in Afghanistan. And while it seems Trump has backed down from wanting to take military action in Greenland, the damage has been done. Listen to the perspective of one Danish veteran. As Trump was fabricating lies about our allies, this Danish veteran, who had deployed 5 times alongside American troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, said, "The first time I heard it, it felt like a punch to the gut." You can survive one punch to the gut. When it just keeps on going, it fills you up with sadness, disappointment, anger. That hero thinks that the United States of America kicked him in the gut. You may have worked with him, and you know he's not alone. Our pillars of democracy will not survive 3 more years of this administration, as is. That's why this election is so important. And who is stepping up? Veterans are stepping up and answering the call. That Naval Reserve chief who was fired, she's running for Nancy Mace's congressional seat in South Carolina. A retired Army general is running for the open seat that was left by Marjorie Taylor Greene. A retired Navy admiral is running to defeat Lauren Boebert in Colorado. And here in Texas, a former Air Force mechanic, Taylor Emmett, is running for an open seat in the Texas Senate. His special election is today. In this 17-point Trump district, he almost won this race outright in November. He's been doing the work, so fingers crossed, we'll be celebrating him tonight. But not only do we need candidates, we need more boots on the ground this election. We need to organize veterans and make sure you not only get out to vote, but that you get others out to vote. Because who has taken the oath to the Constitution more than you? Who has solemnly sworn to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, bearing true faith and allegiance to the same, more than you? So that oath is calling you again. This year, more than any other, we need you to help get us out the vote. In every corner of our city, our county, our state, and our country. Democracy demands that from all of us, every citizen. So to our judges, thank you for supporting this event. And thank you for balancing the scales of justice as you do on a daily basis. You are on the front lines in this fight in our democracy. To our military veterans, thank you for your service. Thank you for answering the call to serve our great nation. And know that we will stand shoulder to shoulder with you as you answer the call again. Because in 2026, we have to win.